Good afternoon, Bobcats. Welcome back from winter break, and buckle up because we have a great show on deck for you. I'm Dylan. This is BBTV News for Thursday, January 18th, 2018.
Hi Bobcats, I'm Sean, starting you off with our top stories of the day. Over the past few months, we have been working on our storytelling skills in Mrs. Kitka's classroom. Our assignment was to tell either our own story or someone else's story. Over winter break, I had the chance to interview Dr. Fred Kater about his life and how he survived the Holocaust. It was an amazing and life-changing experience.
You know, the Holocaust, when it really started in Belgium and people being picked up by the Nazis to be sent to their death, you know, to Auschwitz concentration camp and the gas chambers, and you know, and then being burned into smoke. I was 4 years old at that time, so I don't have much of a recollection. But as we came to the end of the war in 45, being born in 38, you know, I mean, I was 7 years old, so I had an idea of what was going on.
Yeah, it must have been jarring as your childhood, just to...
Well, I just didn't know what was going on. Yeah. I didn't even know that there was a war going on while I was an orphan in the orphanage, you know, from the age of 4. So it wasn't until the end of the war that I started to realize that there was a war going on. And I remember hearing planes going overhead, the drones of planes as the Allies went to bomb Germany. And that I remember. But then I was 7 years old and I had an idea that everybody who was in that building, you know, we're in an orphanage, and we were there because obviously we had no parents, but nobody, you know, knew much about, you know, where they were, how we lost them, or what have you.
I heard that you had like wandered the streets and kind of been like on your own for a little bit of the time. And how was life during then? How'd you manage to survive?
Well, actually, what happened was that I remembered towards the end of the war, we landed up being taken away from the orphanage, and we landed up in a convent. And I, of course, didn't really appreciate what was going on. But the Nazis were in the process of leaving Belgium. And as they were losing the war, the soldiers were being sent back to Germany to fight from the Central Nazi German Command in Belgium, in Brussels. So they were hiring people to fill in and do all the legwork and filing, etc. And that's how they found out that one day they were going to leave Belgium, and the day before that they were going to liquidate all of the orphanages and put everybody on a train to go to Auschwitz. And so the underground, who had sent people to work for the Nazis, they were the only ones who were allowed to get a job with the Nazis towards the end of the war, knowing what was going to happen. The night before, they emptied all of the orphanages, and that's when I ended up in a cloister. And when the Nazis came that day, the next morning, everything was open. Everything was empty. And it wasn't until about 2 weeks later, when everything was safe and the Allies had gone through Belgium and what have you, that we were allowed to go back to the orphanage.
How did you manage to connect with like your family and just,
Well, it was my uncle who had met a social worker gal, and when they caught up with each other after the war, they were both shocked to see each other alive. And he said, I lost my brother, I couldn't get him off the train, and I survived, and everybody else is gone. And she said, I don't think so. There's somebody with a name like yours, little boy, who's in an orphanage. And he recognized the name, Franz Jaruzelski. So he came and got me, and I lived with him for 2 years. But what I tell the kids is, you know, what happens to you is not just accidental. It's because people want to do things for you because it's the right thing to do. And the guy upstairs gives you a brain to think.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you've got the brain to think, it's your choice. He doesn't create wars.
Yeah.
It's the people who think, and if you think for bad, you're going to end up doing bad things.
Yeah.
And if you think for good, then you got a chance of helping someone else in the world and make the world a better place, for people around you that you know, and even people you don't know, depending on, what kind of a job situation or trade you're in or what have you. But if you, right from the get-go, decide not to use your brains for good but for bad, then you become a bully, and you become a teaser, and you become a horrible, teenager to your classmates or to other people, and it just keeps on progressively getting worse and worse.
Remember, Bobcats, everyone has a story to tell, and we would love to tell your story. If you would like to be featured on a future episode of BBTV, please feel free to email our broadcasting teacher, Ms. Kika, or Mr. Torpin, who is the other broadcasting teacher here at Buffett.
That's all for our top stories today. Now let's spin over to the BBTV Sports Zone.
Good afternoon, Bobcats. I'm Adriana. You just entered the BBTV Sports Zone. First up in Buffett Sports this week, girls basketball, wrestling, and boys swimming has officially started their seasons. Good luck to all of our sports team, and tune into BBTV for updates on their seasons. In other sports news, Nebraska coach Scott Frost finished his first season as head coach of University Central Florida with a perfect 13-0 record. And while they weren't even considered for the Final Four playoffs, the UCF Knights are still claiming to be national champions. In fact, the governor of Florida signed a declaration that UCF are the real national football champions. The UCF fans have even purchased ad space on a sign next to University Alabama challenging the Crimson's Tide to a one-on-one game and to truly decide who should win the national champion for 2017 season. It will be pretty exciting to see what the National Coach of the Year, Scott Frost, will be able to accomplish with the University of Nebraska next season. That's all for sports today. Now onto the Buffett Binge.
Good afternoon, Bobcats. I'm Mary with today's Buffett Binge. Were you one of the millions of people who went to the movies over winter break? Did you catch Star Wars or Jumanji or even The Greatest Showman? We thought it would be fun to take a look back at the top grossing movies of 2017. Coming in at number 1, earning $591 million is surprise, surprise, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. In second place, Disney scored big with Beauty and the Beast, earning $504 million. Third place goes to Wonder Woman, earning $412 million. It was also the highest total earned by a female lead in history. Fourth place also went to the Disney's Marvel Studios with $389 million earned by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Finishing out the top 5 list, Spider-Man: Homecoming came in with $334 million. So, if you're keeping track, Disney Studios, which owns both Star Wars and Marvel, scored 4 of the top 5 movies in 2017, earning a total of $1.8 billion this past year. $1.8 million. That's crazy money. And speaking of money, 2018 looks to be another record breaker for Disney as well. Just some of the movies coming out this year include Black Panther, Avengers, Infinity War, Solo, A Star Wars Story, Incredibles 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Mary Poppins Returns. That's all for the binge. Now on to the BBTV feature of the day.
Good afternoon, Bobcats. I'm Kevin, and I'm here with the feature of the day. As you know, on Monday, our nation celebrated the achievements of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 2018 will mark the 50th anniversary of his assassination on August 4th. We will select one of our favorite quotes from him for you all to think about today. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? So, Bobcats, what are you doing for others today, yesterday, and tomorrow? Are you giving back or are you taking for yourself? Are you hurting others or are you hurting them? It's never too late to be the person you know you want to be. That's all for our feature today. Now it's time for today's Buffett announcements.
Hi Bobcats, I'm Emily and I'm here with your daily announcements. First up, congratulations to Mrs. Ritchie. She had her baby boy Mason on Monday while we were off for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. She said that Big Brother Jude is super excited to have a little brother to play with. 8th graders, visit South Magnet High School tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. to learn more about their magnet programs in information technology and visual arts and performing arts. South offers a variety of unique programs and courses including filmmaking, music technology, dance, guitar, and piano, and is the only high school dual language program in the state of Nebraska. Partnerships with the Henry Doorly Zoo, UNMC, and the Peter Kiewit Institute give experiences into our community. Consider becoming a South High Packer. That's all for today's announcements. Now a little fun before we go.
Good afternoon, Bobcats. I'm Namaria, and I'm here with the Before We Go assignment. BuzzFeed came out with a list of over 70 things we learned about in 2017. And here are some of our favorites. Did you know that the most of the Muppets are left-handed because Muppeteers usually operate them with their right hands? That includes everyone from Yoda to Bert and Ernie. We all learned in science class that this land on Earth is consistently moving. But did you know how fast? In 2017, we'll learn that the continents shift or move at the same rate that fingernails grow. And finally, the mystery. Dum Dum Lollipop's flavor is just a combination of the end of one batch of candy and the next beginning of the next. Basically, it's the leftovers.
Thanks for watching our broadcast today. I'm Dylan. Have a great Thursday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.